We're back after a 4-1 week in the contest. We're officially in the money. We're feeling ourselves. We've arrived at week 15 of the 2025 NFL season, heading toward the holidays on the victory path.
It's really unbelievable. I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous about how good I feel about how the streak we're on right now. So I don't want to let it get to our heads, but I feel like we've had our finger on the pulse of the league pretty good with regard to handicapping. I mean, we could be literally 10-0 in the contest if we didn't lose 2 games by half a point. And I know gamblers, that happens all the time. I'm not saying it's just us, but 8-2 in our last 10. We're in the money in the DraftKings contest finally. Start the new quadrant looking good. Some really exciting games last weekend, I thought. Some heartbreakers for me personally in bets that had nothing to do with us. One in particular where I think it's safe to say that the statin that my cardiologist put me on is working, because there is absolutely no way I should still be alive. Because I literally went from the most relaxed, comfortable, almost laying down, almost sleeping position,
sedated,
during the Denver Raider game, and I had Denver minus 8.5, and what I witnessed and what happened at the end of that game, my wife and I were the only ones in the room. It was quiet, it was peaceful, it was a wonderful day, everything was going well. And in a split second, I leapt off the couch, threw my hat at the television, and started screaming from the bottom of my belly. And it came out of me. And the fact that my blood pressure had to have gone through the roof, my face was red, my things were bulging. My wife looked at me and said, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh my God.
And so at least the statin works. I did not have a heart attack. Yeah, the heart attack did not happen. But honestly, if my arteries were clogged at that moment, I would have died.
By the way, is your microphone where it always is?
Yeah. Well, kind of a little closer now.
Okay, there we go. That's a little better.
Yeah, a little better.
Did you take the time to explain to Jenny what happened, or was that not worth it?
Oh no! I mean the litany of vile curse words that came out of my mouth, and the color of my face was so red. It was just, it's inexplicable unless you're a gambler. You never feel that way. There's no way a normal person feels that way.
I thought that so it was interesting. I was watching also, but the games got boring, right? Because the Rams were blowing out Arizona.
Yeah, we were on that side.
Denver was basically blowing out the Raiders, and I kind of felt like the red zone started doing highlights and putting up stats and stuff. Like, it wasn't like those 2 games were interesting. And the Packer game was on CBS, the Packers Bears, and that was really the only,
that was a great game.
So we had a bet on that, and I was just so burnt out from red zone that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put the Packers on mute and watch and light a fire and just chill here. I had no idea that happened until you wrote that in the text stream.
I know. Trust me, I wish I didn't see it. If I hadn't seen it, but honestly, I'm glad I did see it, because I needed to know that I was okay. My heart was okay, because I am going in to check one of these CT scan calcium things again, put the dye in. So I'm really confident now going in that my arteries are flowing, because there is absolutely no way I would be alive today after that immediate type of spike in anger and rage and energy and blood flow. There's no way I could have survived if my artery was clogged. Just no way.
Oh my God. Gambling, anyway, what it does to us.
I know. And it's, what you think as you get older, maybe it would change a little. Like maybe you learn how to cope better. I have a lot of problems. I am not coping. I'm not getting better.
Whose reaction was more extreme, yours or Dave Portnoy's?
Well, Portnoy did use the word murder. I did not. I did not call for the murder of anybody, let alone Pete Carroll. But I did think it was awfully suspicious that the referee, with 4 seconds left, would call a delay of game penalty when the game is essentially over. I mean, who cares? The guy laid on him a little bit. Happens every game. I understand if there's a lot of time left, or even 30 seconds where at that point, they could kick a field goal and get an onside kick. But there was no justification with 4 seconds left to not let that just run out. And you made a good point after the game to me when we talked about it, because you didn't see it and I explained it to you. And the eye in the sky has got to come down and say, just pick it up.
Yeah, or it's I'm telling you, what's the way that all of those officials are evaluated by the league.
Yeah.
And in order for them to get better assignments and get up, and obviously their goal is to one day call the Super Bowl, let's say.
Yeah.
Is that
demerit?
No matter what happens,
yeah,
and the time on the clock is a complete non-consequence of anything that you do. That if you see a foul, you call it. And if they go back and I'm sure they review every single play that happens in every game, and that's how they evaluate officials. And at the end of that game, they see that someone was being held down and that was a foul that wasn't called by that official, then he gets a demerit. And it has to be, they don't think like gamblers, obviously.
Honestly, Jack, I'm going to disagree with you in that point. I think that they need to understand time and circumstance more.
But here's the thing.
I don't think they do that enough.
I defer to the umpire there, who is in a position where they're actually in control of the flow of the game and the speed of it and everything. And he could have taken accountability and said, there's 4 seconds left.
He could have, or the guy upstairs could have come and said, hey, listen, pick it up. It's not a flag. The time is running out, whatever it was. Listen, the NFL, there are instances, and not just gamblers believe this, and we've been doing it for 30 years. There has to be instances where I'm going to say it. I mean, they make a concerted effort sometimes to control outcomes of games, and they know where the money is. They know what by the way, the over under in that game, the over came in on that field goal as well.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh, wow.
So there were 2 things there.
Wow.
That Vegas knew where the money was. The money was on Denver in the under. And in one play, by one flag, it became Raiders in the over.
Yeah.
So it's more than suspicious now. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. And they can't hide it because the technology is so good. I just think the players need to know it. The coaches need to know it. Everyone on the field knows time, circumstance dictates what you do. The referees need to understand. In that instance, the game is over. There's no reason for a foul there, especially of that magnitude. No one got punched in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, come on. I mean, it's ridiculous. And honestly, it's bad for the game.
Yeah.
You don't want people questioning the integrity of the game any more than they already do.
Imagine if you had the Raiders in the over there.
A lot of people, some people might have, I mean,
I'm sure
you
they
had the
did.
Raiders in your pick pool.
All right. Let's get into this week. We are 39-31 on the season.
Pretty good. We've had 2 really good weeks, even with the 3-2 week last week. In
the contest, I'm actually counting back-to-back 4-1s.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what we did in the contest.
For this, I want to make a bet on the newsletter. We gave out 3.5 on Tampa last week. It was obviously they won by 3, but in the contest, we're hot.
Yep.
8-2 the last 2 weeks.
Can we keep it going, Jack? Can we go 4-1 or 5-0 this week? That remains to be seen. One quick thing before we start on the games, I thought it'd be very interesting. I've been saying this all year, and the public bettors are getting smashed, and it continues to happen. In games where 60% of the tickets are more on one side, which is a lot with the public betting, not the sharps, it is the worst mark through 14 weeks in the history of the 23 years that this database has been around. They are 37% against the spread.
Wow.
So if you are out there and you're losing units and you're losing money, it's not just you. The public is having a really bad year gambling. Really bad.
Well, you know what? I think that's reflected in the standings of Megabucks New York.
Yeah. Like everyone's under 100.
It's not only everyone's under 100. I mean, the leader is at 88,000, which I think is a little low compared to other years. I would have to do an analysis, but
I agree with that. Yep.
There's only 4 people currently out of 42 that are above sea level.
Yeah, I know.
And that number is very low. Like I remember last year, there were a lot. I want to say half the league was up at this point, you know?
Wow.
So it's just, yeah, that says it all. I mean, want to make a bet, leagues that want to, we're not sharp bettors. We're, we're normal people who have, regular jobs and families and don't spend our lives doing this. We're passionate about it, but man,
Right.
that's very telling. All right, let's jump into this week's card. Let's
do it.
try to find five again, shall we?
Let's do it, man. The Magic Five.
Starting it off with Atlanta, Tampa, high leverage game for the NFC South. Line came out at 5.5, actually went to 6. It's now down. Atlanta's been taking money pretty much all week. It's now 4.5, total 43.5. I did hear a rumor today about Mike Evans. I'm just going to double check that. I heard he's playing. What does the data say on this one? Yeah, Mike Evans is officially off the IR and his status is questionable.
He's not playing.
Evans activated him.
He's not playing. What's the contest line?
The contest line. Oh, good question. I don't have that. Kate Otten doubtful. Let me just check on a couple other injuries for Tampa. Michael Penix definitely still out.
Yep.
Tyke Smith, the safety, is doubtful. And Dennis, linebacker, is doubtful. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up the splash stuff. What does the data say?
So if the line is 4.5 or 6 or 5, whatever it is, if it's more than a field goal, I expect the game to be close. These teams play close games. Baker Mayfield has faced the Falcons 5 times as a starting quarterback for Tampa Bay. And the margins are +3, -5, -6, +4, and -3. So anything 6 and less, he's never covered. So I just think these are close games, and I would take the points. In the 2 home meetings versus the Falcons with the Bucs, Tampa Bay is 0-2 straight up. This is a night game, right?
Yeah, Thursday night. It's 4.5, by the way, in the contest.
All right. Baker's made 14 starts at night in prime time. He's 4-10 against the spread.
Wow.
2-12 straight up. I like Atlanta, and I hate Cousins. Cousins has been awful. As we know, he's now 1-8 against the spread in his last 9 starts.
Drake London out. Pitts questionable.
Yep.
I think they're expecting him to play.
One other note I would say
last week, right?
One other note that I would say that the data supports: Raheem Morris, when he gets blown out, like off a straight up loss, he's 10-5 against the spread. Actually 8-3 against the spread when his team gets blown out by 20 or more points, which happened to them last week. So I just think it's too many points. The Tampa has not been impressing me lately, certainly for a long time, maybe the last month. And I think Tampa will probably win this game. I just don't think that they're gonna cover it. So I would take the points. Anybody who got 6, I think, is a gift. If you can buy it, maybe I don't know where the line goes from here, but even at 4.5, I like Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think, look, Baker has not been playing well for the last 2 months. The secondary is still banged up. And I mean, they're good at stopping the run, but I think overall their secondary is where they can be beat. I agree with what you said about Cousins, but yeah, Tampa, I mean, pretty much all year, even when they were playing well, it was like these barely wins, and it's still like that. And of course, last week they actually knocked everybody out of Survivor. I mean, That was a terrible loss. And now this is basically must win for them. And even I guess Atlanta's not mathematically eliminated, so they could even win the division still, right?
Yeah, listen, we had the Saints. The data supported the Saints heavy last week. We gave it out +8.5 and money line, and also Tennessee. And we had those. I mean, we didn't even bet them, but we had them.
Yep. Okay. Let's see where we are at the end. That could be a possible.
Yeah, I like Atlanta. I think Atlanta will stay in that number, and I think listen, for us to be in the top 5, maybe we could find 5 better games than that.
Yeah.
But the only reason I have any hesitation at all is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
At all. But other than that, I think Atlanta stays within the number.
All right, let's go to Sunday morning. We got the Ravens playing the Bengals. Ravens laying 1.5, total 52.5, big time over. Cincy let us down last week. I know they let you down. You had them on the money line, but I thought Josh Allen, what he did to that team and the snow. And it was, I mean, the Bengals had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter and they couldn't hold on. And I don't understand how Josh Allen just stands back there surveying the field for what seems like an eternity. And then when nothing's open after 5 seconds, decides to tuck it and run and pick up 20. I mean, how does that keep happening?
He also zipped that fucking touchdown in there. I couldn't even believe it. When he threw it, I'm like, oh, that's picked. And like Cincinnati has no pass rush at all. You said it. Hendrickson's been out. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow lost the game. I mean, I had a money line bet at FanDuel, Indiana University money line with Cincy.
Wow.
It was going to pay $850 on $100. They offered me $499 buyout. Now, obviously, I should have my head examined for not taking 5-1 on that. With Cincinnati up 11 points, I didn't do it.
I didn't know it got that high because when you sent it over to us, should I cash it out? The odds weren't that good for the cash out. It was lower.
$499 for 100, so it would have been 4-1 on my money and my 100 back. Which, by the way, if you could ever make 4-1 on your money in any bet, you should take it. I mean, I was punching myself all night in the head for not taking that. Okay?
Probably, yeah.
But Burrow, I thought Joe Burrow, the interception he threw to Bednar, it was a great play. But again, it was kind of similar to the play that Benino made on Mariota, where he just couldn't get it over him. Only this time, the guy caught it and broke the tackle and ran it in for 6 and changed the whole game. So that one kind of really hurt me bad. But listen, this is the next week. Cincinnati probably eliminated here. They'd have to run the table. They would need Pittsburgh to lose 3 and Baltimore to lose 2 in order for them to win the division. I'm not saying it's impossible because Burrow can win games, but if you're asking,
what did you think of Baltimore after you played them last week? Like, do you think they're done? Like,
listen, you had the controversial call unlikely. I mean, the rule is the rule. I know no one likes it, but you have to get the third foot established or to establish a football move. Great play by Porter to knock the ball out. And I think on the last play, I think Andrews kind of stuck his hand up. I think Hopkins might have been open in the back of the end zone and caught that for the win, but ball never got there. It's a disappointing game for Lamar. He didn't look great. Their defense is not the defense, which is why I understand how the total is so high in this game. But I'll tell you the data. Lamar's faced the Bengals 12 times. He's 4-1 against the spread on the road. He struggles at home against the spread. I kind of like Baltimore in this game. I think it was a huge deflator last week that Cincinnati lost that game. I think that the air came out of their balloon when their Superman Joe Burrow threw those 2 picks and basically ended their season. So Lamar, they're still right in it. They have another game with Pittsburgh, the last game of the year that I know they have circled. And I just think that now it's down to 1.5. It was 2.5. I like Baltimore in this game.
I do too. I think just thinking through how well we know the that AFC North and the fact that they have another game. I thought 2 weeks ago they lost to the Bengals.
Baltimore is another game against the Steelers. I'm saying.
Oh, right. Sorry. So they did lose to Cincy. That was Thanksgiving weekend.
They did. Right? They looked horrible. That was Burrow's comeback. He dominated them.
And I think I agree with you. I think Baltimore comes back, with a vengeance off of that loss, off of the Steeler loss. This is basically do or die.
This is it for them. And I think the Bengals had a lot of belief going into Buffalo with that big lead. I think if they could have pulled out that win, I would have felt differently about this game.
Yeah.
But I like Lamar's record against the spread against Cincinnati. I understand why the total is so high. I do expect a high scoring game. I don't think either defenses are very good, but I think Lamar this time is going to get the best of Cincinnati's defense and find enough, make enough plays to get the win. Because let's face it, they get this win, and all of a sudden, if Miami can pull off a stunner Monday night, which I think will be hard for them, but you never know, then all of a sudden they're right back, in the mix for the division. So I like the Ravens -1.5.
And we know, and I agree with you. I like Baltimore also. We know that that's not a guaranteed win by the Steelers. Again, Miami's been playing very well the last month.
Well, we'll talk about the stats.
Yeah,
I would be
but it wouldn't
very
surprise.
surprised, very surprised if Miami won the game. Can they cover the 3.5? Probably.
Yep. Okay, let's move on. Next up is Chargers Chiefs. Boy, did it feel good to be on the right side of the Chiefs implosion. That was just fantastic. That was Sunday night, having Houston.
That was great, man. I loved having that game.
I had small money line bet. I had the points. I didn't care. I went against the market. That line took off to 5. I think it even may have gone to 5.5.
I think 4.5.
And I think the Chiefs are done.
Yeah. You think the Chiefs are done?
I do. I think, and I kind of, it's like the Nick Saban thing, although we usually apply that to colleges. But I think it's not bouncing back after a horrible loss. It's playing worse the next week. And I think we may see that with the Chiefs in this game.
What's the line in this game, Jack?
The line is 4.5.
Who?
Chiefs.
Are favored?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love the Chargers.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think people must be thinking this is do or die. This is it. But, we've been saying that about the Chiefs for the past 3 weeks. And these barely wins that they come away with, that I think that's the best case scenario in this game, that they win a game, that they win by 3.
Jack,
but the way the Chargers played on Monday.
Could not agree with you more. I think the Chargers proved, I thought it was a heroic effort by Herbert to play with a broken hand and play as well as he did. I think he's a leader for that team. I think they believe in him. One data point that I love here, Andy Reid and Jim Harbaugh faced off 5 times entering this week. Harbaugh has had the edge 4-0-1 against the spread in those games, covering by almost 5 points a game. And just the way they're playing. I mean, Mahomes this year has had a real hard time covering spreads. In general, he has lost 5 games in a row against the spread. They're 4-11 against the spread in their last 15 games in this spot as a favorite at home. So I gotta agree with you. This one I think is real easy for me, and I think that it's got to be San Diego. Well, I keep saying San Diego. Sorry. I like the Chargers here, plus the 4.5. I think that's going to make it into our top 5. And I just love the way they're playing on offense. I think they got a lot of weapons on offense, and I'm with you 100%. Chargers plus 5.5 is going to make our top 5.
Okay, love it. Let's move on to Commanders Giants. This is interesting. This line came out, Washington minus 2.5, 1.5 went to 2.5. And then, I don't know what happened. Let's see when that happened. Oh, I guess that was pre-Minnesota game. So once they got blown out, and I don't know if Jaden Daniels got hurt or what the story is, but suddenly the Giants are a favorite. Washington is officially mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Maybe that has something to do with it. But the Giants are coming off a bye, right? The last game they played.
No, the Giants lost to New England in embarrassing fashion.
No, I know, but wasn't that
last Thursday? I thought.
Okay, so extra rest. It is the 10 days.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Giants here, but this is a skip for me. I don't know what you think.
I think it's probably a skip for me too. The Giants have lost 3 straight games against the spread against the Commanders entering this game. They're both eliminated, like you said. There was a time where the Giants owned Washington, not in the last 3 games. They've lost against the spread and straight up 3 times in a row. One data point I liked, and it came through last week for me, was Minnesota had been shut out the week before. And I gave you that data point that teams that are shut out in their previous game were 33-17-3 against the spread, 3-0 against the spread this season. And after last week now, with Minnesota winning, they're now 4-0 against the spread. Washington got shut out last week. I like Washington plus the points. Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I also it's Jaden Daniels is out, but I think it has less to do with that than just the fact that they got blown out by Minnesota. And I actually think Mariota was capable and played arguably better than Jaden in certain situations. I mean, it's obviously Jaden has a much higher ceiling and has performed better. But Mariota's very capable backup for this league.
I like the way Mariota's played. They lost Zach Ertz. He was crying on the cart.
I
think his
know.
career might be over. His knee, your knee is not supposed to bend that way. You can't unsee it. If you saw it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a skip. This isn't going to make our top 5. But I would say
Okay.
the Giants are a dysfunctional franchise. They have a backup coach. There's a lot going on in that locker room with Abdul Carter. The first round pick has been a huge disappointment. He's falling asleep in meetings. He's disinterested. He's not getting along with veteran players. There's a lot going on in that room that I don't like, and certainly I expected so much more out of them at New England, and man, was I dead wrong. So I'm not going anywhere near the Giants. If I had to bet it, I'm going to take Washington with the points in my pick pool, which by the way, I won this week. 10 wins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did well. My first win of the year.
What was your record? 10-6?
10 and whatever, 4, right?
10 and 4. Okay.
I think so.
All right, let's move on. Browns Bears. This is probably going to be a very popular Survivor play. I don't know if people haven't used the Bears left, and there aren't too many people left in Survivor after what the Browns and Tampa did to people last week. But
yeah, massacre. Is the line 7.5?
It is. It was 7. Up and through the look ahead line was 7. Came out 7.5 on Monday.
Okay. It's your team. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I think. Look, like that post you sent me from Sal Palantonio, not Sal, but the guy who used to be on Red Zone with the big ears from Cleveland.
Yeah, big ears, Dumbo, I call him.
Yeah, pointed out that basically all our skill position players are rookies at this point, with the exception of Jerry Jeudy. And yeah, this is all kind of like a learning process for these young guys, and especially Shedeur, who is really showing a lot of promise. He's making really accurate throws. He's making smart decisions. I mean, the game is it's just like a typical rookie. He doesn't understand. Like when I watch him play, he just doesn't understand how fast it all happens.
Yeah,
and that's just so common. How many times have we seen that? It's just like, and the guys used to playing in the Pac-12 or whatever out there. He had all the time in the world to throw the ball. I mean, even if he was playing in the Big Ten or the SEC, it wouldn't have been even close to this fast with how quickly people are on you when they're rushing. Yeah. And he's getting used to it. But I don't think this is a skip. I would never touch Cleveland. It's interesting for me as a Browns fan to watch these games. I probably would bet the Bears in a teaser. I don't see any way that we could win this game. The Bears are coming off a very tough loss. It was like, I thought they played a fantastic game against the Packers, and they were right there to win it at the end. And Caleb,
I did too. I liked that game. That was fun.
Caleb hasn't been in that situation before. He short-armed the throw. I'm sure he would love to have that back. And it was just the absolute most pressure-cooked moment, to perform, and he didn't do it. And I expect them to just pick up right where they left off. I was so impressed with how they played that game. They never were out of it right till the end. And what else could you ask for? So I'm still so impressed with the Bears. I think they'll probably blow us out. We have real problems on the offensive line. We have 3 out of 5 guys, I think, that are going to miss this game on top of all the stuff with the rookies. So I think we probably get blown out, and maybe Miles gets a couple sacks, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just to make a point on that last drive with Caleb, as a quarterback, that ball's got to go to the back line of the end zone. That ball's got to either be incomplete over his head. You cannot short arm that throw and turn that ball over like that. That was horrible. And he'll learn from that. And yet, obviously, he's young and whatever, but he's got to be disgusted with himself for that throw.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I mean, that's just so much easier said than done.
No, I know. Listen, especially on the run, he's running to his left also and throwing. I mean, it's not easy to do, but it's got to be high and out, high and away. Remember with the spit, down and away? This has to be high and away. Either your guy catches it or it's incomplete out of the back of the end zone. And I don't know, was that 4th down? I don't think it was.
I
thought they had another play.
Yes. I think it was 4th down, but I don't know if you saw they showed that play so many times this week, but I think it was Swift slipped out of the backfield and was actually open underneath the linebackers that he could have walked in the end zone. That would have been like Aaron Rodgers would have seen that. You know what I mean? And done a quick like little sidearm.
Yeah.
But
Rodgers,
he
by
just
the way, just real quick, I thought Rodgers was amazing the other day in Baltimore a couple times. He audibled the line into unbelievable checks that became big plays. So that guy's thinking the game. And sometimes the young players aren't on the same page with him, and they're not picking it up. But I would say for this, listen, Chicago, we said going in, Chicago always struggles against Green Bay. We knew it would be around the number. We both liked Chicago because we thought 6.5 was enough. They lost by 7. So now they are 1-12 straight up versus the Packers in their last 13 games. They're 2-11 against the Packers against the spread. So here's the interesting thing. Since 2019, the Bears are 1-8-1 against the spread the next 10 games after facing Green Bay. And they're 0-3 against the spread when they're listed as a favorite in their next game.
So flat.
And I think 7.5 is too many. If I'm not going to say I love Cleveland here, but I kind of like what Cleveland's doing a little bit on offense. And I think this could be a game where, the Bears come off a very tough loss emotionally and physically. And now all of a sudden they're playing like an out-of-conference doormat. Like this is a little bit of a trap game for Cleveland, for Chicago.
Yeah.
I think they got to be really careful here. And I'm not saying they're going to lose, but 7.5 seems like way too much wood to chop here. The one thing I thought was interesting, you probably know this better than me. The Browns have only played in Chicago since the merger in 1970 4 times.
Oh, is that right?
Which is not many.
Yeah.
Guess how they've done?
0-4.
Yeah. And against the spread.
Yeah.
So that would be the one thing that would give me a little caution. But I kind of think this is a trap game type of spot for Chicago. Maybe a little letdown against a non-conference AFC doormat off that type of an emotional loss. I would take the Browns if I can get you there. 7.5 seems like too many points.
We got to find 5 other games. I do not want that kind of a game to be in our top 5. I understand and I agree that there's some value there, but I think it's mainly the narrative that you're talking about, which I agree with, about them coming out flat after a big emotional loss and a doormat, and they have to get ready. Look, they're 9-4 now. They're a guaranteed playoff team, and maybe just a week to take it down a notch in terms of intensity. And it just wouldn't surprise me. It's just so hard to get up emotionally and physically every single week. Yep. You think you can kind of just sort of cruise through this one, and they probably will and barely win, but I don't want to bet that it'll happen if we don't have
to.
Okay. Let's go on to Arizona, Houston. Man, I saw this. Look ahead line was 7. Then it goes to 7.5. Then we get through the weekend, and next thing you know, it's 10. I mean, that is
what's the line?
A huge number to lay as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I know it's Arizona and they're done, and we bet against them last week with the Rams, and they got blown out, and they're on the road again here. And maybe it is the right play to just take Houston and say, you know what, they're going to do the same thing. But I was really, again, I don't think that this is a team that's going to go far in the playoffs because of their offense. CJ Stroud played terrible once again. I mean, his throwing is so inaccurate. It's unbelievable. They're protecting him now. Yeah. Like now they're protecting him. The offensive line is actually playing so much better, and he drops back to pass and just whiffs. Like it was so unbelievable in that Chiefs game. I really thought even toward the very end of that game, I thought there was a chance that they could lose it because of how bad the offense was playing. And I don't want to lay this kind of number with that offense, even though I actually think they could win and cover this game if they score 14 points. But it's like, I just don't want to do it. It's too much. What do you think?
A couple things I want to unpack really quickly. Number one, CJ Stroud from the pocket is awful. I've never seen a guy on a 10-yard out throw a ball 20 yards over the guy's head into the stands more than I saw in that game against Cleveland. I don't know if he was doing it on purpose. Against Kansas City, but he actually made some really nice off-schedule throws. When things broke down, he rolled out. He made 2 or 3 huge completions for the Texans to win that game. So like
No, trust me.
he's
I
got
know
a
the
little,
one to
he has a little bit of that in him, is what I'm saying. He's not a pocket passer, but he is playing pretty high level football. When things break down, he's rolling out, he's getting completions, he's moving the chains, he's keeping drives alive. And they don't need a lot of points with that defense. That defense is allowing 16 points a game. That defense is on a historic pace against the rush. I believe that they are the best defense against the rush through this many games in the last 8 years in the NFL. I think that's an accurate stat. But I
yeah.
will say here, and I don't think this will make us in our top 10 either. 10 points is too many.
Yep.
I just don't see, D'Amico Ryans, when they're listed as a favorite above 3.5 points, they're very good straight up. They're 11-2, but they're only 5-8 against the spread.
Yeah.
So if I had to, I would take Arizona with the points, but I don't see us doing that. But I'm not laying 10 points with the Texans.
I'm with you all the way.
Okay.
He's another one of one of these coaches who I really wonder how much coaching he's doing during these games. Like the entire time during the Chiefs game, every single time they showed D'Amico Ryans, he was not talking to anybody.
Nope, he's by himself.
He was walking up and down the sidelines, looking at the clock, looking up. He didn't have a headset on. He didn't have a cardboard thing in front of him, laminated, looking at plays, communicating. He wasn't communicating with anybody during the game. So
I feel like,
what coaching are you doing?
Well, I feel like he has his game plan and it's set for the game, and he's going to adjust at halftime, and he probably does very little in-game adjustments.
And his offensive coordinator, the guy, I forgot his name, the guy who replaced Bobby Sloak, I think is awful. I thought the play calling that was going on, maybe I should give some more credit to the Chiefs defense than I am, but I just thought it was so predictable, the plays that were coming out of that Houston offense. And yeah, I just think that they're going to get out coached at some point. All the problems that they have are eventually going to come to the surface. But I mean, this defense is just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Defense travels and defense wins championships. And I said, you go on the road in a cold weather spot. This is a game probably no one would want to see. But if you had an AFC championship game, Houston at Denver, I mean, first one to 15 wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that is just, and I know the way people are with fantasy and they like offense. That is not that kind of game. That game would be a rough and tumble, knock them out, sock them out type of game.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, those two ends, man, Anderson and Hunter they're as good as they get.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
I still in that game would bet on Sean Payton any day over D'Amico Ryans.
I probably would too. Listen, if they were at home, especially, you got to figure they'd find a way. But Houston would give them a run for the money. I think just the defense alone. I just don't know, outside of Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. I know the other kid receiver's been good. Higgins. No one really even knows who he is. I only know him through fantasy. He's been really solid, and CJ likes throwing to him. And this Woody Marks character running the ball has been better. I don't know about Chubb. Chubb seems to be a little hurt, but do they have enough offense? Probably not. But their defense, they keep them in every game. That's for sure. But I think 10 points here is too many too, especially that's coming off a win against the Chiefs. Teams tend to not do well after playing the Chiefs. So I could totally see a trap scenario here as well, even with a bad Arizona team. I mean, that Michael Wilson guy's lighting it up. Brissett's not bad. And I would not expect the Houston Texans to lose this game, but I think 10 is too many.
Agreed. We're not going to bet on Arizona, but let's move on. Jags, Jets. It's kind of another skip for me. I think it's too many. It came out at 9.5, 43.5. Betting down on the total. It's now 41.5, but 12.5. Are we saying the Jags are going to lay this kind of a number? They're that good that they're laying 12.5?
Is it 12.5?
Can you believe that?
What about a survivor play on this game?
Sure.
Who the hell would have used Jacksonville in their right mind? Nobody, probably.
Yeah. There was I used them in my one pool where I lasted until the 10th week early on because they were hot. Anyway, I think it's too many to lay. And if anything, I like the Jets in this game. What do you think?
I got so screwed last week because in fantasy, Drake May was on a bye, and in one of my leagues, not the one I'm in with you, but I'm in 3. I needed that win last week to get the 8 seed and make the playoffs. And Tyrod Taylor, I picked up and streamed him because he projected to have 22 points. In the first quarter, he was out of the game. He got me minus 1.7.
Oh my God.
So I think I mushed him, but he has historically been good covering the spread. He was 7-1-1 in his last 9 against the spread coming into that game. Here's the deal: the Jets have been horrible in Florida. In their, in the last 10 years, they're 1-14 in games in Florida. Trevor Lawrence has been good. He's 9-4 against the spread off a win by more than 10 points. So, I kind of like the way Jacksonville's playing since that Jacoby Myers acquisition. Their defense is elite. The rush defense has been amazing. They're letting up 83 yards a game, which is really good. Breece Hall's a little bit nicked up. I just don't know the motivation the Jets are going to have. But, outside of their special teams, they haven't been very good at anything. The one thing is since 2018, Jacksonville is only 3-6-1 against the spread after they play the Colts.
Yeah.
So, again, that's their main division foe. So maybe it takes, a little out of them, similar to when the Steelers play the Ravens or, those type of division like Bears, Packers, something like that. But I certainly wouldn't take the Jets here. I'm not anxious to lay the points. This game's a skip for me. I probably won't even watch it.
Yeah. I think if you're going to gamble on this game, kind of a smart thing to maybe do would be to just bet the Jets today, because you'll get favorable news on either Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor and Breece Hall in the next few days. And right now it's like the market has completely priced all 3 of those guys out.
Brady Cook.
So why not? You know what I mean? Especially Justin Fields, I kind of feel like he's going to come back. And anyway, that's the only thing I would do in this game, but it's not going to make our top 5, right?
No, not even close, dude. I wouldn't go near this game with a 10-foot pole.
Okay. Bills, Patriots. Patriots were favored. And then I think after initially it crossed over one. Now Buffalo's favored. This is like the game of the year in the AFC East. It's the comebacker. Bills lost early. Payback's going to be a bitch. I like Buffalo in this game. To me, this is it. This is like your chance to take advantage of the fact that, they have the easiest schedule in the league. And if you believe at all in your heart that these guys are overrated and they're not ready to play with the big boys in a big game, and this is the time to bet on Buffalo. But and I think that's where I am mentally. Like I like the Bills in this game. And I've been burned betting against the Patriots this year. So this could just be one more chapter in that book. But yeah, I don't care. I still think that the Bills are better than the Patriots, and that they have just so much motivation in this game. Yeah, their defense isn't great, but their offense just feels unstoppable, especially the offensive line. And I don't think, I'll look up real quickly like what the ranking is on the Patriot defense, but it's not great. It's well, what do you think of this game?
It's not bad.
What do you think of this game?
Well, listen, my mind, after they beat the way Josh Allen plays historically in December, and the fact that you have the revenge spot, I honestly thought this line would be a little bit bigger. I think it's a little telling that the line's so short, honestly. Vrabel's 6-0 against the spread off a bye. Granted, all those games are with Tennessee. Drake May is 3-0 against the spread in his career against Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, as an underdog on the road in November or later, is only 5-12 straight up, right? So this is almost a pick'em game. You're not going to get. I think this game's a skip for us. This is a coin flip game, but I would not be surprised if New England won the game. I think New England is very well coached. They've been underappreciated all year. Drake May's doing amazing stuff. You got the Diggs angle once again. And I just like the way this team's been playing. I know the schedule hasn't been good, but, you can still get to the Bills defense. They still allowed a ton of points to Joe Burrow until they made the one play. Jake May's offense has been very good. So I don't know. The first matchup was that night game in Buffalo, right? And New England went up there and won the game.
Yeah.
I think that one was low scoring. I think this one, I don't know what the weather is in New England. We probably should look at that, but it would be kind of cool if it was snowing, actually. It would be actually awesome. But I think this game's a skip for me. I mean, I'm going to root for Buffalo because I like Josh, and I think it would be more interesting if they won, and it would make it closer in that division. But you can't get me there to bet it. I don't think. I'm not going to make that mistake.
Yeah, Buffalo's defense is ranked 22nd. New England's 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo's run defense against the run, they're 30th. As if you saw in the newsletter last week, I called out how Brown was going to gash them, and he did. Mm-hmm. And I think this is just like probably I like to look on the over 50.5 more than either side here. I just think both of them are going to be running up and down the field, and it's going to be whoever has the ball last. But I still
normally you like Josh Allen in a shootout game like that where he's going to be able to kind of have the time, like you said last week against Cincinnati. This could be very similar where he's got time. I just think New England's better on the back end. I mean, they do have Christian Gonzalez, who's an elite corner, and I think they're coached pretty well in the secondary. So I don't know. This one is a coin flip game for me. I don't see any reason why we would ever have this in our top 5.
Okay. Raiders, Eagles. Originally was 13.5 after the Eagles lost to the Chargers on Monday night. Dropped, came back out at 11.5 on Monday morning. 38.5, very low total. Well, I think Philly's going to be like really angry coming off that loss. I got the feeling in the middle of that game. I think you were playing hockey. You missed it, but man,
yes,
there came a point in that game where I was just absolutely certain they were gonna win the way their defense was playing. And if it wasn't for, the Charger offensive line is so bad.
I know
they were just getting destroyed. And thank God. And I had a little bit of money on the Chargers, but thank God for Herbert. He became the leading rusher of the game.
I know.
And he was tucking it and not, on the run option and just taking it himself and gashing them. And there's no chance for the Raiders in this game, but this is a lot of wood to lay, but I'm tempted to do it with Philly. I think the Raiders are done. We saw that last week. I don't think there's anything left in that tank. I think Eagles coming home in kind of a must win, just get right. They've lost 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5, is it? This is going to be...
The Eagles have lost 3 consecutive games outright.
Yeah.
This is the 4th time under Sirianni they've dropped 3 games in a row. They've never lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
But again, this is 12.5, 13 points. This isn't straight up, right? So
yeah,
I kind of inclined to agree with you. I think this could be, 28-3.
Yeah.
Early and often. I don't see the Raiders scoring more than 10 points here. It's going to be cold. They're a disinterested group. If it's Kenny Pickett, you know what? Maybe I would give them a little bit more of a chance on a kind of a revenge thing because the Eagles.
No way.
They did kind of kick him out of there, but
no way. He's not. He doesn't have the.
He covered for the Raiders last week. Unfortunately for me,
is that right?
Threw that touchdown to that no-name guy when he came in. Denver was winning that game 24-7 with 2:09 left and didn't cover.
Well, Gino's doubtful.
Yeah.
I
would have liked it better if Gino was playing. I would have liked it better, but I still think either way, you're probably okay with the Eagles there, but don't love it as much. If Gino was playing, I would have loved Philly.
Yeah. Well, I think Gino has a better arm than Pickett.
Yeah, he's just dumb.
He's a better quarterback. I know he came in.
Gino is so dumb. I fucking hate him. Like, I can't stand him.
He's a better quarterback than Pickett, and I actually, I'm not giving Pickett credit for like scoring and driving during garbage time when Denver was just sitting back in a prevent defense and letting them have everything underneath. You know what I mean? You put Pickett in a spot against the Eagles, who have lost 3 straight, and they're at home, and that defense, that kid's gonna get destroyed. destroyed.
I don't know, man. I don't love it. I'm gonna say it's too many points. If this was Geno Smith starts, I'll do it. If he's not, I'm not doing it.
Okay. Let's move on to the 4 o'clocks. We got no 4:05 games this week. Wow, skipping right to 4:25 with Colts Seattle. My Lord, another huge spread, 13.5.
Poor Danny Dimes, man. That anytime you see the non-contact and he goes that grabbing the Achilles, it's just a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I guess, look, I think one thing when I see this, and I don't know whether it's going to be Riley Leonard.
He's hurt.
Brett Rippon. No, he's fine.
I think Riley Leonard got hurt last game.
He's fine. He fully practiced today.
What about Phil Rivers? I thought he was going to come in and start.
Well, I think he's going to come in, but I would guess that he's the backup and not the starter. I mean, Leonard's an NFL quarterback who's like played and like ready to go. I would be very surprised. Although, I mean, look, my main thing with this game is it's either a skip or Colts because the look ahead line in this game was 3. And you're saying that all this commotion and losing Daniel Jones is worth 10 points? Like, they're still the Colts. They can still run the ball. They just hand it off to Jonathan Taylor every time. I mean, what else? And I think they can hang around in this game. I don't know. I think this is crazy to lay this kind of a number. I would never do it with Seattle. I would question doing it against any team in the league, much less the Colts. So I just don't. I think the market is massive overreaction to what's going on at the quarterback position there, and I like Indy.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's really kind of confusing. I don't. The data doesn't really support either side. It's kind of a skip, but I understand why you would think that based on the closing on the line where it is now compared to what the look ahead line was.
Yeah.
Listen, under McDonald, under this coach, when Seattle has been laying this many points, they've blown out the teams 3 times in a row. I mean, these games haven't been close. 26-0, 44-22, and 43-14 in the 3 games that Seattle's played at home under McDonald, where they've been laying 7 or more points. So that would give me a little pause about taking Indianapolis. Indianapolis has not been running the ball great with Jonathan Taylor. But in general, underdogs with 10 or more points have a win percentage of 60% against the spread. And when it's 11 or more, they're 15-5 against the spread in recent NFL seasons. So I can understand why you would want to take the Colts here. I just think there's too many variables. The game's a skip. Steichen has not been great against the spread in these spots with them late in the year. Seattle hasn't been really great at home, but in these big spots where they're laying big numbers, they've been killing people. So that's the one thing. I mean, you get Seattle's defense going on a bad quarterback.
I know, and he's a rookie.
It could be dangerous, man. I don't know. The one thing about Rivers I thought was interesting is, Rivers knows this offense well. I saw a report where he runs this exact offense with his high school team that he coaches, and he speaks to Steichen every week. So Rivers knows this offense inside and out, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, whether or not he's going to have some rust there or whether or not he's going to even get in the game, I don't know what the plan is there, But if they're going to make a playoff run, evidently he's going to be the starter. I mean, they're not going with these other kids thinking they're going to get a playoff spot with these fucking backup quarterbacks they have. Riley Leonard is not a real quarterback. He's not taking them to the playoffs. Phillip Rivers can win games for you if he gets right. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So there's no other reason to sign the guy if you're not going to make a real push. Now, is he going to be ready for Seattle? And do you want to throw him in there in Seattle? I think if you did, I would take the Colts just out of the intrigue of it. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Again, it's kind of like my thinking on the Jets. It's like, it's just so much value right now. You may as well just bet it at the 12.5. At worst, he's going to be on the sidelines with Leonard, Leonard was great at Notre Dame last year. He took him to the national championship. Kid's good. I know he's only a rookie, has no experience, no snaps, but
Cam Ward was good last year at Miami too, and he sucks.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the national championship game.
Okay, I get you.
All right, let's move on. We'll see. We got Packers, Broncos, probably the best game on the afternoon card. Green Bay's laying 2.5. Let me ask you a fantasy question real quick. Who would you start this week, Baker or Jordan Love? I'm thinking Baker. I don't like. I was thinking of actually picking up another, like maybe like a Jackson Dart or something for that Washington game, because I think both Love and Baker may struggle with who they're playing this week. Like, I don't really want to take Jordan Love, despite the fact that he's basically on a path to potentially be the MVP against this Denver defense. And Baker, has been struggling for 2 months.
Yeah. I would never play a quarterback in Denver against that defense. I think that's just silly.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I would certainly say Jordan Love is nowhere near being the MVP of the league. I don't know where you read that, but that's not.
Well, he's in the conversation. You just look at his numbers.
I don't know how.
You know how? That by many people's statisticians and others have the Packers as the number one team right now. I mean, it's either them or the Rams or Seattle. Okay. And
Matt Stafford
usually the quarterback on the number one team ends up getting an MVP nod. So he's in the conversation.
You're telling me Jordan Love's numbers right now are better than Stafford's?
No, I'm just saying he's in the conversation.
I think he's behind Drake May. He's got to be behind Drake May and Stafford.
Anyway, he's in the conversation.
And maybe Darnold's ahead of him too.
Every single thing I read or listen to has his name in it.
Wow, I don't understand that. I think that's wrong.
Okay, well, it's
no way he's going to win the MVP.
I don't think it'll happen either, but you can't argue with the fact that he's there. And even in the Bears game, he had an unbelievable game in terms of EPA. The guy was the top of the list last week.
He lost to Carolina at home in those goofy uniforms the weekend that I had him in Survivor. So
no, I know. Look, you're down on him, and you never say anything positive.
He also lost to the Browns.
I know. Look, I know you're not going to say anything positive about him ever. So let's just.
Well, you basically came into the season hating the guy. I don't understand how you're loving him now suddenly, but you've never liked Jordan Love. But I will say this. This game is very hard to pick. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Bo Nix has not been great against the spread at home as an underdog. He's really good as a favorite at home. He's only 1-2 against the spread as an underdog. Green Bay's only been to Denver 8 times. They're 1-7 straight up in their history of their franchise in Denver.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to take Denver. Am I getting points?
Yeah. I feel the same way. I kind of feel like, and even just the face you just made makes, I agree with it. It's like you would take Denver, but you don't really want to.
Yeah.
Because of Bo Nix and their terrible, their offense can, it just reminds me of that game in London when they won 11-9, like you could end up in one of those situations where. Yeah, so I'm with you. I kind of like Denver too, but begrudgingly, you know what I mean? And I think, again, Packers could just have a little bit of a letdown after that big win against the Bears, and now they have to travel against a non-conference team and play this game. And I'm sure it matters for the big picture in terms of overall records and home field advantage and that. But Packers, to me, are better team. 3 points better on the road. I don't know.
I don't think this is a game we have to touch, but I will say something with regard to what you just said. How does Green Bay do after facing Chicago? Under Matt LaFleur, they're 10-2 against the spread in the next game.
Wow.
Which was probably unexpected when you were just the way you were saying it, like maybe it takes a little more out of him. I guess not with LaFleur. Kind of like McVay and LaFleur are very similar like that. Like the Rams and the Packers, when they win these division games, they don't have a letdown the next game. They generally win and cover. So I'm not running to the window here. If you like Denver, I think you need to bet them on the money line. I think you'll get value at home because I think they're either going to win the game or they ain't going to cover. I don't think this is a 1-point game, but what do I know? I think this one's too close to call and something that we should not be relying on if we need a win, either way.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. If anything, it sounds like we lean Packers.
It's tough because Green Bay's record in Denver has been atrocious, and they've been in this spot a couple times where they've been road favorites against teams with a record like Denver, and they've lost the previous 2 games straight up. So I'm not I don't have a lot of conviction that they're going to go there and win.
Yeah, I agree. I just had a flashback to the Arizona game, which they weren't trailing until the field goal went through and at the buzzer. That could be another one of these, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Carolina Saints. That's a skip for me. Carolina's laying 2.5 on the road. I guess they're alive for the NFC South. Hold on, let me see.
Aren't they 6-6?
They're 7-6, and so are the Bucks. All right, this is a meaningful game for them.
This is a big. I got to tell you, the Saints. Tyler Shough.
You did it. You said it right.
A hell of a game.
Yeah, I know.
You know, Ruben had Shough 2 or more touchdowns and cashed a ticket for $1,800.
Are you serious?
In that game? Yeah.
Wow.
He sent it to me.
Wow.
He picks these wild things. That guy Shough. Who the hell would have Tyler Shough 2 or more touchdowns other than Jacob Ruben? Guy's a savant. It's unreal. I don't know if that guy's had 2 rushing touchdowns in his life.
Rushing touchdowns.
Yes.
Wow.
Rushing touchdowns. Isn't that
Holy
incredible?
Shit.
Interesting data point here, and this makes me like the Saints. The Panthers have lost 11 straight games straight up and against the spread as a favorite.
Wow.
And this is a division game. Since 2020, Carolina is 3-14 against the spread as favorites. And I'm not saying the Saints are great, but man, that's a big win last week to come out of there with a win in Tampa. You're telling me they can't go home and win this division game against Carolina, against a team that doesn't play well as a favorite? I would take the Saints.
Yeah.
It's hard to, but this is one of those games where you look at it, you say, wow, Carolina off a bye, the Saints are horrible. They're only laying 2.5. Count ride Saints, right? Then you look at the data and you're like, wow.
Yeah. All right.
How about this? Bryce Young has made 8 career starts in the afternoon slate of games in his career. They're 0-8 straight up.
Is that right?
He's never won at 4:00.
Well, I'm sure he's been a dog on every single one of those games. I don't know what you have the ATS.
He's 4-3-1 against the spread, but here he's a favorite.
Yeah.
So if he hasn't won, I guess unless you think he can win by 1, maybe he breaks that.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think is interesting and probably unnoticed by most people, and I read this, I couldn't believe it. The Saints' pass defense is allowing under 200 yards passing in 3 straight games.
Improving.
So, and they're home. I got to tell you, I have a sneaky suspicion here the Saints win this game.
Yeah. Okay. That's a skip for me. I mean, maybe we'll come back to it, but I just ugly, mediocre at best teams in a division game feels like a flip of a coin. You know, I just can't.
I agree with that, but
yeah.
But on the other side of this, I think there's something to be said. Every year, you get teams that at the end of the year, especially younger teams like this with a young quarterback, right?
Start surging. Yeah.
Yes. So if they could put together a little something at the end of the year, and they're counted out of all these games anyway, right? I mean, people don't like, this is why I like the Browns this week with 7.5 for the same type of reason. Like maybe they put a little something together here, you know? I mean,
well, the other thing is, and I think it's like, what's the motivation level? Like you kind of feel like with a team like Arizona that there's a good chance that a lot of the guys on the offense have quit.
Yes.
Whereas when you see, the Browns have all rookies out there, they must be so excited to go out there and play. I know Shedeur is, and just get out there and play and have fun and just try to improve. Like it's their first year playing NFL football. Like they're pumped.
Stefanski said out loud that Shedeur's starting the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Period. So that gives him confidence. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder anymore. He's the starting quarterback of the Browns. He's got all these young guys around him. He still has Judy. Njoku's out, but he's got Fannin. And you know what?
So much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they catch Chicago sleeping. I just thought 7.5 was a lot in that game. That's all. like sort of
Okay.
a trap game scenario. But
Let's move on.
Let's talk about this game. This is a good game coming up right here that you're going to bring up right now.
Great game. Lions Rams, probably the better actually. Man, the 4:00 slate is the better slate this week.
Sick.
But Detroit's getting 5.5. Coming off a bye. Well, what was the last game the Lions played? And they got
They had a huge win at home against Dallas.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah, this is a classic. Like this is
They
like
crushed a lot of souls in that game.
Yeah.
They crushed a lot of souls.
I know.
I got a lot of Dallas fans. I didn't hear a peep out of that. I did not hear a peep out of them this week. Those arrogant Dallas fans, quiet as church mouses this week. Not a peep.
I was part of that crowd on last Thursday night, so it's extra rest. Yeah, I really believe Dallas had the better team. I was wrong. Detroit responded well. They played great at home. Question is, what are we going to see in this game? I just don't think Detroit has the defense to hang around with the Rams. I don't know about this point spread. It feels like a lot. Like it feels like it should be 3.5. I don't know if I could lay 5.5, but I like the Rams here. I'm nervous about taking, the Lions in a game like this when their defense just doesn't seem to be able to stop, anyone. So yeah, I like the Rams in a teaser. I don't think they'll lose this game. What do you think?
So here's the deal. I'm a huge Stafford guy. I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. I've been saying that for the last month. I just think they're the best complete team to me.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, I think 5.5 is too many points.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell is always prepared to play, especially as an underdog. If this spread was 3, I might like the Rams, but at 5.5, I think I like Campbell and Goff. When they're underdogs of 4 or more points together, they're 17-3 against the spread.
Wow. I like that.
Meaningful stuff. Like
yeah.
They're in these games,
Yeah.
To me, listen, Stafford's incredible. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, they got the 2 running backs, even Corum's pretty good. But I think the best player on the field that night will be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the best player that when I watch the NFL every week and I watch every game, he's the most unstoppable player in the league right now. Every time Jahmyr Gibbs touches the ball, he can run for a touchdown. I just feel that way. Like I kind of felt that way when Saquon was healthy, which obviously he's not. Jahmyr Gibbs is a bad man, bro. And I understand this is not a fast track necessarily the way it is in Detroit, but it's not grass. I think it's indoor, outdoor type of thing. I think it's
SoFi.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's 2 stats here. The Dan Campbell stat with Goff, I think, is phenomenal, right?
Yep.
4 points or more underdog. They're 17-3 against the spread. McVay, since the start of 21, is 16-3 against the spread in December. So he gets his team. But here's the thing, Jack. When the Rams are at home and they're laying over a field goal against a good team, which is an over 500 team, they're only 7-11-1 against the spread under McVay. And when they're favored by over a field goal, they're only 6-9 against the spread against teams that are better than 500. So this is a spot where you want to fade the Rams laying that number. So that's why I like Detroit.
Okay. I think I could get there with you. Again, as concerning as their defense is, they're very aggressive, and McVay tends to get conservative late in games where he's totally content to play to win by a field goal or less. He's a very good manager of the clock late in the game. Like I like what you're saying, and all the data really supports, the dog here.
It kind of does just in this spot with that many points. Like when it's over a field goal, yes. The other interesting thing, obviously, which we all know, is the whole Stafford Goff thing. Being in Detroit and coming to the Rams. Like they've played twice already. They played 2 very close games. I believe one was a 1-point game in the playoffs, and one was a 3 or 4-point game. So they've been really close. The Rams have lost both those games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that portends from a revenge standpoint. I just think the game's going to be super close. Okay. And if I can get Goff and Goff and Campbell plus 5.5, I think they'll cover.
Yep. Okay. I think I agree with you. Titans 49ers. Geez, another huge number, 12.5. This is a skip for me. I don't
Do you think
see.
anyone's taken San Fran this year already? Because that could be a survivor play.
Yeah. There's been plenty of San Fran weeks.
Yeah.
I used them early in the year, and they won for me. They've had a lot of easy games, but
Yeah.
I don't really have an opinion on this game. I mean, I guess was this the latest team to beat up on Tennessee? Probably, but I'm not interested in laying this kind of a number.
I don't have really any data on this, but I'm damn impressed with Tennessee going into Cleveland last week and winning that game. I mean, Tennessee had been dreadful against the spread. They've now covered, I think, off an AFC South game, the game after. Remember with this data point last week, they are now 4-0 against the spread.
Yeah.
In a game after where they play a division game. Now, this is a different animal. Now they're going to the West Coast. They're playing an out-of-conference game with a team that's off a bye. San Fran's probably going to be motivated, I would think, to come out and play good football at home. I don't know if I'd be anxious to lay it. This game is probably a skip for me, but would it surprise me if Tennessee played well? Not really.
They got outplayed last week, by the way, on the stat line. I mean, I know they won the game, but some turnovers for Cleveland.
I feel like Pollard had a really good game running the ball.
Yeah, he did. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
Vikings, Dallas. Came out at 7.5. Vikings have been taking money all week long, and that JJ McCarthy, maybe he is good. You never know.
What's the line now?
5.5, 47.5. It's interesting. Like Dallas, they're not mathematically eliminated, but man, did they destroy their chances last week in that game against the Lions?
Yeah.
This is a weird one. I kind of like, I don't know, the way Minnesota played last week is getting people excited, obviously, but I think the market sort of feels like they're overreacting to that win against Washington, and like we're going to see the same old shitty Vikings team that we saw last month, excluding that game. And I think Dallas probably comes home and bounces back and wins convincingly on this one. I kind of lean Dallas here. What do you think?
This one's not easy for me, but I think I like Minnesota with the points. The Cowboys have been favored 6 times this year. They're only 2-4 against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
Dak is just 2-6 against the spread when he's a favorite over the last 2 years. That's the second worst mark in the league behind Mahomes.
There's only been 8 games where he's a favorite.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Since the start of last season.
Yeah.
Dallas had a pretty dreadful season last year. I think they were a 5-win team.
Yeah.
And I also think Dak got hurt at some point last year. Didn't he miss a lot of games and that guy Cooper Rush was playing?
Yeah, he did.
So here's the issue. Since the start of 24, which is last year, Dak has faced the team under 500 6 times. They're 1-5 against the spread in those games, 0-3 against the spread at home. I kind of liked what I saw out of JJ. They have all the weapons. He's been struggling with the offense. The defense is hit or miss with Flores. I think last week's loss was kind of deflating for Dallas. I'm not saying they can't bounce back. I think CeeDee Lamb is out with a concussion.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
It looked like a multi-week injury to me, man. That guy was like, his arms were like frozen.
Well, he's questionable. That's interesting for me because I picked up that guy Flournoy in our league.
Yeah.
He practiced.
I'm going to say I like Minnesota to cover this game, and I like a high-scoring game. I like Minnesota in the over.
Okay. Were there any major injuries going on for the
major injury I saw and what I read about right after I saw the concussion to CeeDee Lamb and he was frozen kind of like this with his arms is that is a multi-week injury. You don't just come back from that. That's a 2 to 3 week concussion protocol. He's not going to be released from protocol. I'd be very surprised.
Okay. Yeah, I like Dallas in this game. I think the market overreacted to Minnesota winning. I don't think they're good. I would hate to like say, now they look great last week. They're going to go down and beat Dallas now. No way. I would be absolutely shocked if they, and this game is Sunday night, isn't it? Yeah, it's the night game.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them getting their absolute doors blown off by Dallas. And this is the kind of game Dallas wins. a game that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? They win these kinds of games because they don't matter. They lose games to Detroit that matter a lot.
You're probably right, and I'm probably wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be in the top 5, but right now, I don't think I can trust Dallas after what I just read about Dak against the spread when they're laying that many points as a favorite at home.
Okay, totally fair. Last game of the week, your Pittsburgh Steelers coming off the hot, big victory. AFC North champion Pittsburgh Steelers to be.
What's the line?
Laying 3. Hasn't moved. 42.5. When I first saw this line, I was like kind of leaning Miami, only under just a basic principle. That is, like, I don't like Steelers as a favorite. And I don't know, you probably have the numbers on when you guys are a favorite at home, but I know that your numbers as a home dog are unbelievable. What are your numbers as a home favorite?
On Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Really?
Yeah. Mike Tomlin, 22-5 straight up, but only 15-12 against the spread on Monday Night Football.
Okay.
And he's only 6-6, and Pittsburgh's at home, but they win these games. Rodgers been very good on Monday night, 8-5 against the spread. Tua has not done well in cold weather. We know about this. We know about Tua's record. Outdoor games when it's under 40 degrees, he's 0-5 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. He loses those games by an average of 19 points a game. Here's the one stat that stood out to me. Since the start of 2022, after the Steelers win a game outright, like they just did against Baltimore, they almost always cover. They're 35-0 straight up and 34-1 against the spread in the next game.
Wow.
Tomlin is incredible at home on Monday Night Football, his record on a straight up level. So if you're only laying 3, chances are you get a push or a win out of this game by taking Pittsburgh. I don't like Tua in the cold weather. I know they're playing very well. I know that Miami's strung together a lot of wins here, but Tua is only 1-8 as an underdog on primetime straight up. So if you think that 3 points is enough, then have at it with Miami. But I mean, I don't see the Steelers losing this game. After I heard some of the things in the locker room after the win against Baltimore, and normally when we play Baltimore and we win, I don't like us the following week. But I do like the extra day. I do like the Monday Night Football angle with Tomlin. And I think this is a chance from a couple of guys in the locker room. What I heard on defense was they think if they do what they're supposed to do and play good defensive football, like late in the season, they've been waiting for these December games. They think they can win every game. I mean, I know that's a lofty thing, and I know players say dumb shit all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think Steeler football in the cold. Steeler football in the cold. Miami is not a cold weather team. It's going to be 20 degrees Monday night. I already looked. You may get precipitation. You may not. The one thing Miami does well is they run the ball. I know Achane got nicked up a little bit last week. I'm not sure what his status is. You know better than me. The backup kid came in. It was that kid Wright. He did very well. I'm not saying so. I'm not going to say with all conviction that you should bet the Steelers because I normally don't like them after we beat Baltimore. But I can't look at this Tomlin record on Monday Night Football and this record that Tua has and say that I would bet Miami. I just wouldn't.
Yeah. Contest line's 3.5, by the way.
Not as attractive for us. So probably a skip for us in the contest line. I would not lay 3.5.
Yeah.
If I lay 3 with Boswell and I get a push out of this game at the end of the night, I'm okay with it as long as we get the win. I think we will win this game. I don't think that Miami is good enough to come in here and beat us. I don't.
Yeah. I think you would maybe want to bet it at 3. I have this feeling it's going to end up at 3.5 on Monday when the public comes in on it, if not before Monday. But yeah, I kind of agree. I like 3. Don't like 3.5. I think Miami's going to be competitive, but I don't. Those numbers that you said about the Steelers are incredible, and Miami in the cold, like they have that reputation. And until they win, I see them win a big game in bad weather or the cold. Like I wouldn't back them, but
yeah.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh in this one. All
I do
right,
too.
everybody. I got to get to dinner, and let's
Let's
good
just
luck.
review, Jack, real quick. So I think we both like Atlanta with the 4.5. I might be able to get you there. We liked Baltimore at Cincinnati. We love the Chargers at Kansas City. I like the Browns. I might get you there with the hook. We both thought Arizona plus 10 was too many, but we don't, maybe a sandwich game, but maybe not. The Saints, I think we both agreed based on Carolina's record as a favorite, although they're a bad team. I
Yeah,
still like the Saints to win the game. We both like the Lions a lot, plus the 5.5. We both like the Steelers. I don't know if we like 3.5, but that's kind of where we are.
that's like 7 games.
Yeah, well, we only need 5, so we got to figure out how we're
Yep.
going to get there by the newsletter. But at least
Yeah.
we have kind of in the neighborhood. We got some games to talk about further.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Good show. And yeah, newsletter hits either Saturday night or Sunday morning. And we're looking forward to keeping the hot streak going. And thanks for tuning in. And follow us on social media at Wanna Commish on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
Sounds
Anything
good,
else?
buddy. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you.
Let's
I'll
go,
talk to you
baby.
later.
Later, brother.